Welcome everybody to this virtual session on Vivatech and on the Région Sud Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur stand for this dedicated session on Smart Tech for green shipping. Many thanks to the region for this welcoming and this possibility to present new solutions to decarbonize shipping. Région Sud Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur is the first French maritime region in employment, jobs and industries. So we are now not only in a virtual session, but based in the Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur region. Many thanks to our speakers who will present their solution and their vision on the energy transition of shipping, and not only energy transition, but also on smart transition, because smart and green are linked to face the environmental challenges. I'm the managing director of Eco Energy Transition Coalition, launched in 2019, and I will animate this session with pleasure with the other speakers. In 2018, the International Maritime Organization has adopted a very ambitious strategy to reduce the global greenhouse gases emissions from shipping. Even though shipping is the best way to transport goods, because this is the less pollutant mode of transport, it represents 3% of greenhouse gases emissions. So we have to transform, we have to contribute to this global challenge and to this global transformation, not only shipping, but also the global value chain, territories, other industries such as aeronautics, road, rails, and so on. Shipping industries have yet launched a lot of projects for renewable energies, alternative fuels, alternative technologies, because we need to create the new energy models and the new operations to tackle the different climate goals. We have to think to new mix of energies. We have to reduce energy consumption and to optimize energy gestion. And we also have to protect biodiversity. So these 3 points are really linked thanks to a better understanding of ships, ports, interfaces, interconnections. We have to think also a better connections between maritime and shore activities. For that, we will let our speakers to present their solution. And first, Christophe Avenant. Christophe, you're Deputy Manager of the Mediterranean Cluster of Innovation. And you support a lot of companies, you support innovations, projects, and you have a lot of projects in the Région Sud Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur and also in Occitanie. So how do you think that companies are working on this challenge of green and the smart for green transformations?
Thank you, Emmanuel Marie. How we can better develop a new solution for a greener and a smarter transport? The idea is a cluster mainly, and we can find all the solutions in the Pôle Mer Méditerranée cluster. The Pôle Mer is a maritime competitiveness cluster created in 2005. We are based in the south of France, and as you said, we cover region Sud Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur, but also Occitanie and Corsica. The aim of the cluster is to facilitate the emergence and the collaboration of the companies, large companies, small companies, large companies like Bourbon. We can have some example in a few minutes. Small companies and startups such as Circo and Cirut. And our job is to facilitate the collaboration and to find for them partners and funds. We mainly work through 6 strategic main business areas. Just highlights the subject on which we focus today: naval and yachting, and also digital transformation, ecological transition, and robotics. So in this cluster, we found 426 members, as you can see, large groups, but also SMEs and small companies, research institute, and also a training institute. We have already certified 500 R&D projects, and we can say that this is quite a success because we have already awarded more than 1.2 billion euro of R&D projects. We have a large scale of public funds mainly state funds, French funds, but also European funds, and of course regional funds, because the region is highly involved in the development of this technology and this business. And I just gave some pictures of some of projects we have already awarded. And I think now we can focus on the subject that is directly linked with the roundtable today.
Thanks to this project, do you think that maritime industry has switched to reach the climate goals by 2050?
Yes, that you can see in the second picture, please. To be greener, shipping has to be smarter. For us, it's highly clear that we have to develop smart technologies to be greener and to reduce the impact. Why we can do that in our region, in the Sud region? Because we have we are the cluster. We have also more than 426 members. We are a large region with 5 million people and more than 30 million visitors in each year. And as you said a few minutes ago, Region Sud is the first maritime region in France, not only with tourism, but also this is a highly industrial region that represents a workforce of over 120,000 jobs. And we are mainly focused on smart technologies. The smart ship objective is to take advantage of new information technologies, artificial intelligence, automation, virtualization, IoT, connectivity, and so. And the idea is to develop more intelligent and more autonomous ships to make ships more attractive, more efficient, more economical, and less impactful in terms of environmental footprint and safer also. All the projects we quickly represented a few minutes ago, the objective of all these projects are to develop new services and new projects to have safer products, better ships, but also greener ships. And the impact was quite high for this first region in terms of employment. We estimate with also the French maritime cluster and all the companies that if we can success in Region Sud to develop all this smart technology for smart ships and greater ships, we can have around 40,000 perhaps more new employment in France, and of course mainly in our region because this is the first region, this is the first maritime region, and we hope that it will still the first maritime region in France in the next 10 years.
Yeah, many thanks, Christophe. We can see, thanks to your presentation, that smart and green create new jobs, create new industries, and there is the importance of region, of local authorities to strengthen these new industries and the new skills to develop these new businesses. And for these new businesses, now, Alex, you really enjoy kite surfing, and you decided to transform it a few years ago into a new business model, a new company. So you have founded Circo, and you are developing a speedcraft designed to shatter the sailing speed record. No, very proud in France and Région Sud Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur to challenge this. And how your innovation and from a speedcraft, how can you transform the global maritime industry to face these climate goals by 2050? How does it work?
For Circo, the idea is to create breakthrough innovation through what we call pioneering achievements. The first one for Circo is to, like you said, to shatter the world sailing speed record. So to craft to design and to develop the fastest sailcraft over water, so only propelled by the wind. And thanks to this kind of project, our goal is to develop breakthrough innovation, because maritime transportation for us, it's the industry is at the stone age of innovation. Even if you see new solution coming right now, thanks to startups or companies that are mainly focused to innovate. So maritime transportation need new innovation. For us, it's the same thing to go fast with a small ship, but it's the same thing with a large one going slow. It's the same, the physics is the same. So we develop what we call a product called Efficient Ship. Is a digital twin that help us design our speedcraft, but we tweaked it to answer the question of large boat, way larger boat that need to resolve their energy efficiency equation. It's one of the main focus of the team now is to continue develop this platform. And we announced yesterday that we signed our first client a few months ago, and we announced it yesterday. We have been chosen by CMA CGM to work on how to implement new wind system propulsion on their ships. What will be the best or the most efficient solution? Our platform is really a trusted third party that is able, thanks to the data, thanks to the physics, to see what the best solution is and to help them choose what solution they will implement on their ships.
Your speedcraft is not a big container ship with 80 megawatts of propulsion, and you can think the global design of a big ship, such as you think the global design of your speedcraft, and with the kite.
Yeah, we resolve a physics equation. It's the same for, like I said, for a small boat to go fast or a big boat to go slow. You still have the same physics for at least for the propulsion system. So we use data. We use artificial intelligence to analyze all the parameters you can put in your model, and such as, for example, weather routes. We can connect the API of Circo to our platform, so you will have all the weather data. But we also simulate the waves, the wind, the resistance for the boat, and then you just plug model of propulsion model. It can be hydrogen propulsion, LNG engine propulsion, or sail, or kite, or rotor flattener, all the new wind power solution. And you just resolve the equation. It's the same thing for our speedcraft to go fast. The only thing is that for our speedcraft, we can only put the wind propulsion, which is just the one we can use.
Yeah, you create a same model for different kinds of ships, and which is very important because we have a lot of discussions in maritime industry to explain, but a ferry, a RO, a VLCC, a container ship do not have the same energy consumption, do not have the same emissions. So your model is supposed to create a global move to reduce the emissions and energy consumption of the different assets, ships in maritime industry. And you cap data thanks to IoT, and you create this digital twin thanks to your platform, your own platform.
Yeah. The data that we gather, it helps us calibrate our model. Basically, it gives more info and makes it like very, very accurate. That helps carrier to simulate, of course, their consumption, but also the carbon savings or the time they will their ETA, etc. So it's, of course, thanks to the data that we can collect, and as much data as you can get, as much precise and accurate will be your digital twin.
Okay, digital twin. Guillaume, I think you're interested in digital twin, and maybe, Alex, you will sign another contract with Bourbon. I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows? Because Guillaume, you're manager of the smart shipping program for Bourbon, a leader for offshore supply services. And you're developing also digital twin to optimize energy consumption. So you are working also on smart solutions to green efficiency and to reach your climate goals. How do you work? You also develop a model. You also work with data. You collect and you structure data.
Indeed, Emmanuel, what we did is that we built up a consortium with some partners, with Predict, Opsilog, Aix-Marseille University, and also Bureau Veritas. And we from this consortium, we launched a project called Cassiope, with objective to capitalize on data, on industrial data from the vessel, to improve the operational excellence. Alexandre spoke about the data to feed a digital twin, and what is important, one of the hurdles to cross on board vessel is to collect the data, because the data we are speaking about are the industrial data. So the data coming from sensor, from automats on board, from control system, and the data acquisition is not so easy in the maritime environment, and also due to all the cyber security issues. You can understand that when you have a vessel working in a close vicinity of offshore installation, you need to make sure that no one can take the control or to perform any attack on your industrial system. So the project will first work on an embed system for the data collection, and this system will allow also the edge computing on board to feed, I would say, the decision support tools for the crew. And so with this data, we'll be able to have a safer operation. You mentioned earlier that green ship are smart ship, but a smart ship has to be also a safer ship. So we'll use this data to feed decision support tools, such as, for example, to support DP operation, seafarer doing DP operation to ensure that the vessel are well operated and ensure the safety of the operation. The data will be also sent to shore, and they will feed a digital twin. Our digital twin, we said is a marketing name because there's a lot of digital twin. The digital twin we are looking at are not the hydrodynamics model of the vessel or the structural model of the vessel. It's two things we are looking for: is the health state of the vessel. That means that how are behaving the equipment of the vessel, and typically we'll use this health states for predictive maintenance, but also we'll perform the modeling of the operational capabilities of the vessel to be able to understand in real time if a vessel is capable to do this type of operation, another type of operation. So this is very important, and with this good knowledge of how of the good state of the vessel, will be then able to feed the last part of the project, which is operational performance and efficiency. So how we capitalize to this data to change the way the vessel are operating. So I would say the energy efficiency of the vessel itself, and then also the good use of the vessel within a fleet to support our client activities. And this is very important for the charterer to have the proactive decision making to optimize the global greenhouse gas emission of their activities.
So you propose to your clients green ships and green operations. So are they ready to contribute to this project? Are they ready to change also their own organization to implement such ships transformed to better operations and to green their operations?
It's something one of our partner Opsilog is already doing, is to the data reporting by crew. So I would say the declarative reporting of crew of the activities. They are already proposing to the charterer to change the habit, to have the good habit on the utilization of their fleet, and this they are able to reduce between up to 15% of fuel consumption. With this project, we are aiming to reduce by 10% more the fuel consumption, because with a better use of the data, we'll be able to go further. And for example, to propose to, for example, we can imagine that with the condition of the hull of one vessel, the logistic manager will be able to select the most efficient vessel for transit. And he will be, when he has the choice, he will be able to in fact to have the vision of the emission of his fleet before he does the action, when he takes the decision. So we are moving from I would say the reactive mode. Today, everybody is looking at how many what are the level of emissions they did in the past, but we need to move this to how I have the good data to take the good decision to reduce the emission. I will do, in fact, and to switch from the reactive mode to proactive mode.
And this decision making to optimize the operations help also to optimize the global fleet, and maybe the energy sobriety you explained. It's also ships sobriety, because before we changed each 10 years the ships. Now we can change in 15, 20 years, because we have a better optimization fleet.
Yes, for sure that today the maritime industry is changing a lot. Everybody is convinced of the added value of a connected vessel, etc. With our solution, we hope to upgrade the current fleet, when we'll demonstrate to our clients that our current fleet are still competitive, even more competitive, because we are able to capitalize on the data. And for sure, as you said, energy sobriety is to consume less, I would say, fuel on a day-to-day basis, but is also to extend the life of the asset, and our system aims to extend the life of the asset. Yes.
So, Pierre, now you also enjoy kite surfing, but from optimization of ships to operation optimization, you developed a solution to optimize the global value chain in a door-to-door approach, thanks to your calculator and your digital platform. So how do you integrate these green projects in digital tools to optimize the freighters' conditions to operate and to transform their own activities? How do you tackle this challenge?
It's a great question, Emmanuel. Maybe before I answer the questions, I always like to give a bit of context. I think it's the next slide, just to give an idea of the weight of CO2 emissions coming from freight on the kind of the global scale. Freight is the third largest CO2 polluter, or transport in general, and transport including passenger and freight. And it's growing because the global demand is increasing. Everybody is shipping, buying from Amazon these days, and maybe we should stop doing this. So just the volumes are increasing. And so what happens is the shippers, people that like IKEA, Nike, and all the other ones that are actually using transport are the ones that are choosing the greener emissions or greener transport potentially. And so they're the ones that will have an impact in reducing the emissions overall. And so what we've done basically is create an app that gives visibility to the good solutions. So you can imagine sailing cargoes that transport containers for zero emissions, and probably solutions like Alex was talking about earlier, or other solutions, maybe what Guillaume was talking about. And so basically working on operating its fleet better. Basically, the app that we're putting in the hands of shippers is designed to do this, is to show all the good players in some sense. And if you give this to shippers that are shipping containers all around the world, and they constantly continue to select the good players, then at some point the bad players just get eliminated. So that's the end goal, is to create visibility.
And so thanks to data and to digital tools and new systems for ship owners, you can propose new roads and you can optimize the roads. There is a big challenge today for the global transport value chain. This is just in time. This is the optimization of roads to less consume in ships, so to reduce emissions. How do you build this proposition and this service and integrate these new innovations on board, because it's going faster for ships transformations?
It is, and the ships are actually going faster as well, and so they pollute more. So somebody has to show which ships are going slower and are polluting less. That's the end goal. So to answer your question, we think from the perspective of shippers that reducing emission is a 3-point process. It's first when they're selecting which transporter they're going to work with. So way before they actually transport shipments, just choosing the right partner, and so having the right data at that moment to figure out which one is greener. Maybe we put all of our boxes onto a Circo ships because in the end they won't pollute. So way before shipping, just choosing the right partner. Then there's the moment you do the booking. So in the day-to-day operations of a company like Decathlon, every week they're shipping goods and selecting the vessels. So at that moment, if they can have the choice between different vessels, different services, different transporters, within the same transit time and prices, they can choose the right ones, or the ones that reduce CO2. And at the end of the process, the end of the quarter, they've done all their shipments, comes a CO2 report, and they're looking at the worst player in some sense, and feeding this back into the tender, so where they selected the carriers. And so having that loop and iterating through it over and over and over again until the CO2 emissions emitted by transports kind of go down. That's the offering.
And do you think companies are ready to transform their own CSR to help this transformation? You explained this is not ships. This is the global value chain. So this is the behavior and the strategy of the companies. Do you think now there is the switch, we can go forward?
Yeah, I think so. I think first there is an offering. You're starting to see, biofuels, for instance, in some of the vessels out there. So there is an offering for greener routes, and there is a demand from the large shippers. And there's also something else that's happening. Maybe on the next slide we'll see it. Is that at some point you'll see that truck is electric and rail is electric. So everything that's transported inland will be basically virtually emission free, if you think 20, 30 years from now, maybe further. But shipping or air is always going to have a part of fossil fuel. And so part of the emission reduction strategy will be to reduce the sea or the air part, the fossil fuel part. And there is a huge gain from selecting the right port. So here, we often jokingly say that Antwerp is the first French port, because a lot of the traffic goes through Antwerp instead of going through Marseille or Le Havre. But if you go through Marseille and Le Havre to be able to ship to Paris and Lyon, in the end, you can save, so in one case, 12%, in the other 35%. So there is optimization you can do on the whole chain. And if you combine greener vessels, better operated vessels with the correct port of entry, you have your winning ticket.
Many thanks, Peter. And I think now you have presented these really innovative solutions, both of you. And so many thanks to our speakers. Many thanks to the Région Sud Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur. Thanks to you. We understand now that there is not only ship optimization thanks to data, IoT, digital twin, but also operations optimization and the global transformation of the transport, logistic, mobility value chain. And thanks to concrete projects in territories, we can face and we can reach the climate goals by 2050. So let us go with us to transform our industries, to transform our functionment for environment. Many thanks.